The action ringside, live here from New York. Dre, you mentioned earlier, you said Berlanga needs to wake up his legs. Doesn't need to be gripping the canvas so much and gripping, pressing for the expected knockout. What do you expect early on?
Well, I want to see him box, and he can be ready if a big punch becomes available. That's always an option, but box, use your jab, try to pile up points. And when you have natural power like Berlanga has, you'll surprise yourself with the kind of punches you land and the power you land with. But if you lead with power like he's done for his whole professional boxing career, that's when Berlanga starts to get into trouble.
For his professional boxing career, because when he was an accomplished amateur, Tim, he was known to be more of a boxer. His man strength came around, and then he found the thudding power as a pro.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for tonight. I mean, for Berlanga, he can't afford to lose the jab battle. You know, and he also can't afford to fall asleep and allow Rose to kind of gain any confidence throughout this fight. And he needs to let Rose know right away that he is 37, that he is 24, and he's 37. And for Rose,
that punch right there, the jab, excuse me, Tim, is the punch you want to see Berlanga using early in this fight. That lets you know he's getting in a rhythm. That lets you know he's thinking boxing and not power. When I see him trying to cut the ring off and he's not throwing any jabs, that lets me know he's still looking for power. So he's throwing one jab thus far. We're a minute and a half in. He needs to pick that left hand up.
See, Steve Rose right now is doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to, you know, hide behind that jab, move, take this fight into the later rounds and use his experience. You know, frustrate Berlanga. Don't allow him to land a big shot. Make him miss and then make him pay.
The complete burden tonight, all the burdens, lie on Edgar Berlanga. To please the crowd, to get the win, to look good, to answer questions. Nobody expects Steve Rose to come in here and upset Edgar Berlanga. They expect him maybe to make it interesting. So he's playing with house money. He needs to take advantage of that and look for his shots to land shots. And then, like Tim said, get back to boxing and slow the pace down.
Yeah, expectation has been a word that has always been pinned on Berlanga. And Tim, we've talked about it before. That knockout streak, as much attention as it grabbed, mainstream attention it grabbed, of 16 consecutive first-round knockouts, it didn't serve him well in terms of career management and development.
Yeah, it's horrible for a fighter. Honestly, when you don't experience these bright lights and get in the ring and actually go rounds and, you know, feel the other guy breathe on you and take some shots, you know, and go through some adversity, doesn't help you at all, just knocking out and flattening guys.
And then, of course, last April, Damon Nicholson went the 8-round distance, and yet Berlanga had great moments in that fight. Scored 4 knockdowns, rounds 2, 3, 5, and a big thudding blow in round number 8. Taking the instructions from Andre Roger as well as Kay Karoma. You know, at the end of that first round, he did land a clipping right hand. He's very heavy-handed. That cut, well managed by Mike Basil, the cut man, veteran cut man, after the round, is on the left eye, the corner of the left eye. Watch the elbow right there. See the elbow of Steve Rolls, and then immediately we saw the blood coming from that left eye of Edgar Berlanga. Now, the commission is saying it's an accidental clash. So obviously an accidental clash. If we get through 4 rounds, we would go to the scorecards for a technical decision if the fight was stopped because of that cut.
Let's be professional, guys. Let's be professional. Come on now, come on. Come in.
No, honestly, I don't know how much longer Rose, you know, it's still early on, but how much longer he can move backwards and fight the way he's fighting. You got to understand, he's 37 years old. Takes a lot out of you to fight off your back foot. Ooh.
Yeah, but he's not getting hit, Tim, and Berlanga's not cutting off the ring. So Rose, if he had a full training camp, which he said that he did, he can move those legs at this pace.
But at the same time, when you put also the fact that he's scared, he don't want to get hit with those big shots, that's nervous energy draining out of Rose also.
Definitely, and I think the mistake Berlanga's making is he's not using his jab, and he's punching where Rose is, not where he's going to be. When you have a shifty guy, you want to anticipate where that guy is going to go and meet him there with the punches, not punch where he is, because ultimately he'll get out of the way because he sees the punch coming.
To your point, Berlanga's only landed 6 jabs according to CompuBox.
Hey, fellas, I think we got to put some of this in context. First of all, we wouldn't be here if not for the streak and the power that streak represents. Second thing, last time out, I think we're misinterpreting some of that fight. He tore his bicep in the 3rd round, went the distance without a hook or a jab, his left bicep. So just, I don't know, step on the brake, I think, a little bit.
I'm not sure that's accurate. If Berlanga didn't get the knockouts, he's got charisma. He can fight. He didn't have to get first-round knockouts to wow the people. There's a lot of ways to wow the people and to get the people behind you. And he's got all the other, he checks all the other boxes. As far as the last fight, I think we've talked about it very evenly. He did well. He just came off the canvas, and because of the reputation, people are going to overreact to say he's not what we thought he was.
Ooh, waiting on that right hand. I was just about to say, that right hand, that jab is coming out at the same speed from Berlanga, at 1 speed. Right hand right over the top right there by Rose.
Sneaky right hand.
Round 4 from New York. Let's go back and see that right hand from Steve Rolls in that 3rd round, Timmy.
Oh, yeah, you see the hands right there, down right there.
Let him go, let him go,
Berlanga,
Steve.
the left hand
Let him
down.
go, Steve.
You see him step back to try to get distance, left himself wide open for the right hand of Rose. Ooh, he hurt. Oh, he was hurt with that shot. If that right hand would have landed flush on that chin, it probably would have been lights out for Rose.
So Rose may find himself in big trouble because when he punches, the occasional times that he does punch, he falls inside. And the last 2 times, Berlanga was able to counter.
If I'm in Rose's corner, I'm letting him know right now, get up on your jab. Your jab rate needs to go up. Berlanga's trying to walk you down. He's looking for 1 shot. But if you keep the jab in his face, you can occupy that.
Don't throw hard, but throw sharp.
That's right.
Just need to land.
That can be the best defense often. Now he's committing to it a little more as Berlanga tries to track him down.
Rose is going to be dangerous with that right hand, that big one, that big overhand right or straight right hand until this fight is over. That's the only shot he's looking for right there. He's waiting for Berlanga, like we talked about in the Xander Zayas fight. He's waiting for the young fighter to fall asleep so he can take advantage.
Look, you see, when I told you that I was concerned about having so many voices in the corner.
Yes.
You see any hesitation from Berlanga? A lot of thinking going on from Berlanga.
We watched him splitting his attention between Andre Rozier and Kay Karoma. 2 highly respected voices in the sport. Mickey Bay also assisting.
I'm looking for the new stuff. I don't see anything new, but just patience. I'm looking for, you know, the change up of the cadence with the jab. I'm looking for the jab down to the body from Berlanga. Something new, something different. But I haven't seen it yet.
In that 4th round, Edgar Berlanga landed 6 of his 8 power punches thrown. There was a right hand that got your attention that you said, if it was flush, should be over the fence.
Definitely. I want you to pay attention to the center line. Right there, one guy keeps his head on the line, One guy gets his head off the line. Berlanga gets his head off the line. Check this out. That right there is called an even exchange. Both guys exchange with their right hands. Now, if that shot would have landed on the chin, would have been night-night for Rose. Ooh.
You can hear Berlanga's punches.
But I still see Berlanga plodding forward, thinking power first. I can tell in his body language. I can tell the way he positions his upper body when he gets close to Rose. He's trying to get himself in position to land that one big shot, that knockout real shot. And that's not the answer. It may be the answer tonight, but long term, that's not the answer for Berlanga. Berlanga needs to throw combinations. Berlanga needs to forget. I know it's hard, but try to forget that you have the power to show your other ability. It's not enough to talk about it. It's time to show it. Because this may work with Rose, but the competition knows that he's looking for one big shot. You're going to leave yourself open to get caught.
In Steve Rose's corner, I spoke with Sam DeCaria's trainer. He said, look, I've asked him to land that overhand right. It's there for him. We wanted to take Berlanga deeper into the rounds. I think 4 rounds is deep enough. His energy's starting to get sapped, and this is where Steve Rose can continue rolling on because he's like a diesel truck that has all the energy to keep going.
Trey, you mentioned that earlier, that he was waiting on it, the overhand right.
Joe Tess, what Berlanga hasn't accepted yet is he would actually be more dangerous with boxing, mixing in boxing and trying to hide his power, becoming more creative with the power. Power's not going nowhere, but we got to find different ways to deliver the power because everybody knows it's coming. He's actually more dangerous by mixing in boxing than he is plodding forward looking for one big shot.
Well, Dre, that's what he said that he's been working on. Ooh, nice right hand right there over the top
There's the right hand from Rolls.
All night long. Anyways, that's what they said that he's been working on, honestly. That's why he added all these, guys into the camp. You had Mickey Bay, old school trainer. You got Kay Karamu, who's more of the technical guy. And then you have the power coming from Andre.
But it takes time. It takes more than one camp. It's a 6-year pro career of this mindset that you got to reverse. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. You're right about that.
And he's at home.
And Rose is not out of the woods right now. And all it takes is one shot from this guy, Berlanga, on the chin, and it's lights out. Nice right hand right there to the body.
Don't drop that defense. Keep your hands up and work. Let's go. Let's go.
And meanwhile, Mike Basil's working on the cut. And in working on that cut, interestingly, because it's on the left side, he has to turn his head to the right. So he's facing Kay Karoma opposite his longtime trainer, who was flanked on the other side, Andre Rozier.
Tess, people don't realize in that corner, like, it's controlled chaos. You're trying to get your wind back. You're trying to recover. And you're trying to listen to instructions. You have a cut man putting Inswell on your face, putting Vaseline on you, or trying to work on a cut. Like, it's controlled chaos for about 50 seconds. You need to get the information, and then you got to go back to work. Good counter right hand from Edgar Berlanga right there.
Rose got to be careful going to the well all too often. That right hand, now Berlanga's trying to set a trap for him. Just as you said, Dre, he's rolling that right hand of Rose and coming back with his own.
Berlanga can switch up his pace with his feet and his hands. I think he'll get this knockout. But at this pace, Rose can time him. Still may get him, still may land the big shot, but it's going to be a lot harder. You heard Bowie Fisher, the late great trainer from Philadelphia, when Bernard Hopkins fought Tito Trinidad. Early in the fight, he said, don't throw a hard jab, just throw it, baby. Don't throw anything hard. We're going to get him in the later part of the fight. And he kept reminding Bernard of that. Bernard would touch him. Didn't seem like it was much. Sneak a body shot in there, rough him up on the inside. He kept that going for 5, 6, 7 rounds. And as the fight progressed, all of a sudden those same shots got a different reaction from Tito now because he's beat up. And that's what Berlanga has to learn. Trust the process. Stop trying to avert the process and kick the door down. Check the window, the back door, the side door. Get in a different way. That's going to spell longevity for Edgar Berlanga in his professional boxing career.
Trey, incredible to think that come this September, that'll be 21 years that fight, that middleweight unification that you mentioned. That was right here in this building, and I'm sure many of these fans are here a generation later to see Edgar Berlanga were there that night as well to see the great Tito Trinidad against Bernard Hopkins.
Dre, I can't believe you told that story, man. You know it's Puerto Rican night tonight.
I was thinking the same thing. As a result, nobody here wants to remember.
Of me. That was so insensitive of me.
Maybe some Miguel Cotto references would be better. But a point well taken as we come to the end of round number 6. Edgar Berlanga returned from the bicep surgery and the first knockdown he suffered. Shakur versus Valdez to cap that stretch. The two best 130-pounders in the world. And by the way, that April 23rd heavyweight championship fight, that'll be an ESPN pay-per-view. That's middle of your Saturday afternoon. You don't have to sit around watching a pay-per-view till after midnight. That's a Saturday afternoon with the time difference. Excellent. As we'll be over in London.
Excellent.
Round 7 scheduled for 10. There's Rolls looking for the right hand.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Rolls get a little bit more emboldened in the second half of the fight, especially if he feels like Berlanga is starting to fade, which we heard from his corner. He did a good right hand from Rolls, straight to the gut.
And you can tell he's pressing on the gas just a little bit with that mindset early on here in round 7.
I'm telling you, you do not want to allow Rolls to get confident. That's what I said early on. Don't let him get confident. This is the result of it.
That's exactly what Andre Rozier just told me. We cannot allow Rolls to get comfortable in there. We've got to cut off the ring to his right, work the body, and continue to use the jab.
Do you understand that Berlanga has been following Rolls around the ring? He hasn't been cutting off the ring at all and doing it properly. You understand that? That's what's going on right now. He's following him, literally following him around the ring. What he needs to do is he needs to bring that back foot towards the outside of that lead foot. Get ahead of that jab, so that way he can come over the top with the right hand. Woo. Nice little pepper right there from him.
Been able to manage that cut fairly well that opened up early in the second round from that elbow that we saw in the replay.
Yes, they have.
Edgar right there, he changed angles right there, trying to create something different. Getting a little frustrated, trying to give a different look by switching southpaw. Now you see the nose starting to bleed of Edgar, getting banged up from the jab of Rolls.
Steve Rolls is getting more and more confident right before our eyes.
Ooh. He's popping that jab off the hip.
That's it. Pop, pop, pow. That's what the jab does. Frustrate your opponent.
Because Berlanga, yeah, he has, and because he's coming the same way, the same speed, it's just allow Rolls to get into a rhythm where he knows, okay, here he comes, block, 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 okay, go back to work. Been able to time the rhythm of Edgar Berlanga.
Completely different tone.
And let those combos go.
Heard Andre Rozier, who's been with Berlanga for a long ride, saying, gave that round away, get back to basics, and that means smart pressure. Smart pressure. And see if he can apply that. He's also saying, where's the 3, where's the 5? Left hook, left uppercut. But to your point, Dre, and you said early on in that last round, you could see the confidence of Rolls coming about, and it was there in that last round where he outlanded Berlanga 25-12.
Yeah, he's slowly coming on. The right hand is what Steve Rolls wants. But he's content to pick and poke and pile up points with the jab, the occasional hook. But the right hand is really what he's looking for.
Man, keep that jab in Berlanga's face. That thing is doing damage. You need to understand.
And that's the punch that Berlanga has neglected tonight, Tim, is the left hand.
And I said that in the beginning. I said he cannot afford to get out jabbed. And he's allowing Rolls to out-jab him.
Tim, prior to that 7th round, Steve Rolls did not land double-digit jab connects. Then all of a sudden, the 7th round, he was 15 of 42 on his jabs.
Well, you got to let him wear it down. You got the young guy, tons of energy. You got to let him wear it down a bit. You know, fights are won strategically. They're won by the brain. You got to use your mind. You know, a thinking fighter. That's what Rolls is. And he's executing his game plan right now. And I'm not saying he's winning this fight, but I know that he won the last couple of rounds in my book, clearly.
Sneaky left hand to the body from Steve Rolls. Good body shot for Berlanga.
Ooh, you see that right hand again from Rolls. Lead right hand.
So even that jab was a power jab. Every jab is a power jab instead of a flicking jab. The same jab that Rolls is hitting Berlanga with, Berlanga needs to hit Rolls with.
Oh, that body shot hurt. That body shot
right there from Berlanga.
He hurt him with that.
So give Steve Rolls something to think about.
It's a right hand to the body on that last exchange.
The fighters are resilient and they're chameleons, so he's trying to sell the fact that he's not hurt by continuing to punch.
Watch your heads, guys. Watch your heads.
They want him to pick up the pace, pick up the aggression. Big work is the call to order for Berlanga as we have the last 6 minutes here. Total punches through 8 rounds. Rolls a 95-87 connect advantage.
See a little bit more assertiveness coming from Berlanga. Feeling that he needs to close the show.
And if you're Steve Rolls, this is to be expected. You should know that Edgar Berlanga is going to go on a run in these last 2 rounds and try to close out the show.
Let him out.
Rolls has to let Berlanga do the hard work, do the lunging, do the pressing, and Steve Rolls, has to focus on defense and take what Berlanga gives him.
With the swing that we saw, Dre has given Rolls the last 3 rounds. Still has Berlanga up 77-75.
See, the biggest
round 6 test was very close, and round 8 was very close. But Berlanga's just been outworked. He's allowed Steve Rolls to pick and poke his way through those last 3 rounds.
It's like every time Berlanga shoots a big shot, it's almost like he has to recharge himself. He needs to throw those combinations, close the distance, and let those combinations fly.
Good exchange from both men.
Sure was. Good action here with a minute to go in round 9.
It's a close round going into this last minute test.
Body shot with the left hand from Berlanga.
See, that's the focus right there. He needs a focus and a purpose in there. The body work is the key. It's going to set up the headshots for Berlanga.
He just drove down a short right hand to the top of the head of Rolls. Then he comes searching for a conventional right lead.
Rolls is going to have to stay strong and use that jab.
It's a tough round to score right here. Rolls will have a moment like that, then Berlanga will have a moment, and then Rolls will have a moment.
Good shot right there from Berlanga. Nice right hand.
Got the best of those final moments.
We good? We're going to put some water in there. How you feel? You're good? Your legs are there?
He's cutting on top of the head.
The one's a logo, please. That one's like 10.
You finished it. But you're looking for the head too much. Okay? And stop trying to load that right hand up. I want a straight right hand or right uppercut.
I want you to see this in real time. Actually, slow motion. See the uppercut right there? It seemed like it landed, you know, in real time, but it didn't. You saw a little short, little sneaky shot land for Rose. But this body shot right here, you know, great, well-placed body shot right there on the belt line. And you see the high guard to start this action right here. You see the jab and the right hand that follows. As you can see, Rose trying to get away, catching him on the way out. Beautiful sequence right there from Edgar Berlanga.
10th and final round.
Último asalto de lo mejor que vimos a Berlanga hoy a la noche. Lanzando y aterrizando lo más efectivo. 10-9 Berlanga en el noveno.
Otra vez esa derecha llegaba sobre el palietal también de izquierdo de Rolls. Y viene el upper también, la izquierda que llegaba en gancho. Hacia atrás. Menos de 2 minutos para que esto termine. En una pelea cerrada en las tarjetas de los jueces.
Sí, señor.
Por lo menos eso es lo que hemos visto. Esperado por tratar de conseguir ese golpe. Berlanga. Ya vea bien Rolls. Soltando el gancho de izquierda. Ese es el que puede engañar a que llegue luego la derecha.
Más allá de que gane o no Berlanga, creo que la máscara está... Le quitaron la máscara ya hace, desde por lo menos la última pelea, y lo confirmamos hoy, ¿no? ¿Cierto?
Sí.
Por mucho que gane hoy, ¿no?
Claro, me queda claro. Estamos hablando de, con todo el respeto para Rolls, no es un rival ni cerca de la élite en la división. Y ahí se van a entregar con todo. Doble y hasta triple ya, metiendo la derecha también. Qué gallardía y qué entrega hoy de Rolls. Me quito el sombrero a los 37 años de edad.
Sigue llaveando, sigue fiel al plan de trabajo, al que trajo desde el principio.
Sí. Con piernas toda la noche.
Sí.
Habla del compromiso que tenía para esta pelea, donde lo trajeron a la cueva del lobo. Literal. Se va a terminar la pelea, señoras y señores. Berlanga va a ir a su tercera decisión consecutiva, luego de 16 knockouts en el primer asalto. El campanazo los va a separar y no más. Nos vamos a las tarjetas de los jueces en Nueva York. El drama, el suspenso viene incluido. No cobran por eso, así que prepárense.
Bueno. Está en su casa. Ojo, en su casa está Berlanga.
Qué buena pelea.
Y qué bien trabajó Rolls.
Y vemos algunos pasajes.
Trabajó muy bien, utilizó el jab, se supo mover, sobre todo escapando de esa mano derecha de Berlanga, que buscó pero que no pudo conectar. Y Rolls se dedicó a eso, a moverse, a pegar y salir rápido. No estar en ese radar del peligro.
Tarjeta último round se lo estoy dando a Berlanga, levemente aterrizando lo más efectivo, y mi tarjeta final 95-95.
95-95.
Así es.
Bueno, empate entonces en la tarjeta de nuestro juez internacional, Fernando Barbosa. A ver cuánto tardan para la decisión. Equipo de trabajo. Esta se puede tocar. Ahora, hizo un buen trabajo Rolls. Independientemente, Renato, que solo tuvo el jab, Rolls. Más nada, o sea, quizás combinó 2 o 3 veces a Berlanga. Pero fue puro jab hoy. Y obviamente hay cara de preocupación en la esquina de Berlanga. Rolls ahí en el centro del ring. Cortó con el codo, prácticamente arrancando la pelea. Los primeros asaltos. Rolls a Berlanga. Ahí viene, pues.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds here inside the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Frank Lombardi scores the bout 96-94. Thomas Carasoni and Mark Constantino both score the bout 97-93 for your winner by unanimous decision. And still, NABO Super Middleweight Champion.
Bueno, termina de ganar Berlanga en una decisión unánime. 2 jueces lo vieron ganar 97-93.
Bueno, yo no estoy muy de acuerdo, pero
podíamos esperar esto en Nueva York, ¿no?
Es el favorito de la casa, es el lado A de la ecuación. Mi tarjeta final.